Okay, let's dive in then. Imagine if life had this hidden instruction manual, like a rhythm that kind of governs our growth, our challenges, maybe even our destiny. And what if ignoring it led to unexpected consequences, stumbling blocks, maybe even getting sick.
Right.
Today, we're unpacking this idea that might sound a bit mysterious at first, but it seems woven into life itself, setênios, or septennial cycles.
Septennial cycle.
It's like uncovering this universal blueprint for life, a rhythm that, well, our source suggests holds some real power. And understanding it could be a shortcut to navigating everything with more health, more purpose.
It's a really compelling idea, isn't it? And what's fascinating here, what really grabs you, is how often that number 7 pops up.
Yeah.
In like fundamental structures. You see it in nature, in ancient wisdom. It suggests this deeper inherent order that maybe we're only just starting to really get. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to explore these powerful 7-year cycles. Try to understand what each one asks of us and what the source material suggests happens if we don't quite align with these rhythms.
Universal rhythms, yeah. It's about more than just like personal growth tips, isn't it? It feels bigger.
Exactly. It's about understanding and kind of working with a cosmic flow, if you will.
And that cosmic connection, well, it seems pretty immediate when you look at the evidence the source lays out. You mentioned the number 7. It seems to be everywhere.
It really does.
What kind of examples does our material give us? From nature, our bodies, things that show this isn't just, arbitrary.
Absolutely. The material points to how 7 is almost like a universal signature. It highlights everything from the 7 notes in a musical octave.
Right, the 8th note starts the new one.
Exactly. To the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 chakras or energy centers in the body, even our basic 7-day week. But it's not just symbolic stuff. It digs into biology too, saying our skin cells, even our bone cells, completely renew roughly every 7 years.
Wow, okay, so it's baked right into us.
Seems like it. And the source presents this not as some new idea, but as a core insight into, let's say, universal design, something recognized by thinkers way back.
So this isn't some modern self-help concept, it's older wisdom.
Precisely. Figures like Pythagoras, other ancient scholars, they deeply study the influence of numbers and these kinds of cycles, long before our modern science. And the source highlights that these septennial cycles are also deeply linked to Saturn's astrological transits.
Ah, Saturn. Okay.
Yeah, astrological wisdom suggests Saturn creates significant structures, challenges even, in our lives roughly every 7 years.
Yep.
And that culminates the big Saturn return around age 28 to 29.
Right, I've heard of that.
So the idea here is that these aren't just coincidences. The source presents them as like crumbs of bread or signs left by, let's call it universal consciousness.
Okay.
For us to find our path in this third dimension, this physical reality, and maybe avoid feeling totally lost.
Okay, if that's the big picture, the universal blueprint, let's get specific. How does it actually play out in our lives right from the start? The source seems to say the early cycles are critical for emotions.
Whoa, absolutely pivotal.
Yeah.
That first cycle, 0 to 7 years, the source really stresses how crucial it is for a child to understand their own emotions.
Okay.
And it puts huge importance on the mother, or whoever the main caregiver is, in actually naming and validating those feelings.
Naming them? How so?
Well, like if a child's crying, instead of just saying, stop crying, the parent might say, what's wrong? You're feeling sad, aren't you? This actually teaches the child to identify that feeling as sadness.
Ah, giving it a label.
Exactly. Or if they're acting out, breaking things, naming that as anger.
Yeah.
It helps build this crucial emotional vocabulary.
Right, and this brings up a really important question. What happens if, these basic emotional lessons aren't learned back then?
Well, the source is pretty clear. The consequences can be profound. If a kid isn't taught to process and identify their own feelings, they often struggle socially later on.
How so?
They might not be able to perceive or project onto other people's emotions very well, which can lead to isolation or just a real lack of empathy as an adult. Think of maybe an adult partner who just doesn't seem to notice when you're sad unless you spell it out for them.
Yeah, I can picture that.
The source suggests it could be a direct result of missing that emotional processing way back. But importantly,
Yes.
the empowering message here is that it's apparently never too late. You can identify and sort of correct these missed tasks through self-awareness, maybe therapy.
That's good news.
Right.
Understanding the why behind some adult struggles, maybe.
Exactly.
So the source mentions this initial emotional groundwork actually stretches a bit longer, maybe reinforcing the need for self-identification up to around 13.
Yeah, it suggests that first phase is maybe a bit longer than a strict 7 years,
Yeah.
really emphasizing that self-awareness piece.
Okay, so after understanding our feelings, what's next? That transition into the wider world, like 14 to 20 years old.
Right, that's the key transition. From 14 to 20, we enter what the source calls the social septennium.
Social septennium, okay.
This is where the individual learns to perceive and understand the emotions of others, developing empathy, benevolence, that kind of thing.
So moving from me to them.
Precisely. It's that essential shift from what do I feel
Yeah.
to what do they feel.
Yeah.
Vital for, getting along in society.
And then comes the third big cycle, 21 to 27. This one sounds intense. The game of life, seeking spirituality, art, self-knowledge. What's the task here?
Yeah, this cycle is really about asking those big questions.
Yeah.
Like, who am I in relation to the universe? Or what do I believe about the unseen? A lot of people, the source says, naturally gravitate towards religions, spiritual groups, maybe even things the source calls secret societies during this time. It's a period of deep questioning, forming one's own spiritual identity. And the source even notes, potential conflict can arise here.
With family, maybe.
Yeah. It advises that if your developing beliefs clash hard with your families, sometimes it might be better to keep them a bit private to avoid huge fights, rather than just ditching your path altogether.
That's practical advice. But what happens, especially at this age, if those earlier emotional lessons were missed and this spiritual searching gets skipped?
Well, this leads to one of the most sobering points in the source material, the connection to the Club of 27.
Ah, yes. The musicians and artists.
Exactly. Many famous, often incredibly talented individuals passed away around this exact age. And the source connects this directly to, essentially, a failure to fulfill the tasks of this spiritual septennium.
Wow. Like a cosmic deadline.
Almost seems that way, according to this view. It's as if the universe presents this critical point for self-discovery. And again, it ties back to Saturn's influence, that astrological quadrature or challenge point happening every 7 years, leading to a major restructuring around 27-28. It's presented as a kind of reckoning.
Yeah, that's a really powerful, almost cautionary example. It really makes you reflect on those early adult years.
It does.
Okay, so if you navigate that, you hit 28. The source calls this the true beginning of your life and the most powerful return of Saturn. That sounds huge.
It's presented as incredibly significant.
What kind of big, maybe instinctual shifts does the source say happen around then?
Well, first, the numerology is interesting. 28, 2 plus 8 is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. Number 1 signifying a true beginning.
Okay, yeah.
And around this age, people often do make massive life choices, almost instinctively. The source lists things like getting married, getting divorced, having kids, starting university, moving cities, big surgeries, career changes.
Wow, okay. A lot can happen.
A whole lot. And while leaving home isn't like a strict requirement, achieving a genuine sense of independence is key. It feels like the universe nudges us towards these major shifts, these new starts.
So with that fresh start at 28, what's the focus for building our lives in the next cycle?
Right, so moving from 28 to 34 years, that's the fourth septennium. The focus here is really on structuring your material life.
Material life, like job, money.
Yeah, but also creation. The source talks about reproducing, which isn't just kids, but also creating products, maybe writing a book, starting a business, getting married is a form of creation, moving, changing jobs. It's about bringing things into concrete existence.
Making your mark.
Kind of, yeah. Then from 35 to 41 years, we hit the fifth septennium. Here, the numerology, 3 plus 5 is 8.
8.
Which signifies strong work and economy. So the task is pretty clear. Work hard, save money, manage your finances, manage your life effectively, really become financially independent.
Makes sense. Practical stuff.
Very practical. And the source even suggests, if you're feeling lost about your path, an astrological map could reveal your true calling, your best skills for earning money. Sort of a no-excuse vibe for finding clarity.
Interesting tool. Okay, so we've built structure, achieved some independence. What's the next big task? The source points to age 42 as another major turning point.
Yeah, this is a fascinating shift in focus. At 42 years old, the numerology 4 plus 2 equals 6.
6.
6 connects directly to family, marriage, and also philanthropy, giving back.
So the focus shifts outwards.
Definitely. The core task is to invest in your family. And that's defined broadly, could be blood relatives, could be your chosen family, your community.
How does that investment look?
It means spending money on them. The source says paying for meals, trips, helping with bills maybe, but also just fostering strong connections, being present.
Okay.
And the Force makes this really striking claim about Elvis Presley dying at 42, suggesting, controversially perhaps, that he might have succumbed because he didn't fulfill this family aspect required by the cycle.
Wow, that's quite a statement. It really underlines the importance the source places on this.
It does. And what's compelling, as you said, is that idea of family being broader than just blood. It's finding that community belonging and contributing back.
Giving back.
And again, the source reiterates, if you missed stuff in earlier cycles, this cycle, like any later one, really emphasizes the need to catch up.
Huh.
It's a constant call for course correction.
Always a chance to get back on track. Okay, now we're hitting midlife proper. The source talks about 49 to 55 years, the 7th septennium, as a time for radical change, specifically around career.
Yeah, death and rebirth of career job. Radical changes is how it's put.
Yeah.
The numerology, 4 plus 9 is 13 and 1 plus 3 is 4. Points towards hard work again, but also accepting transformation.
So what kind of radical changes are we talking? Not just tweaking things.
No, think bigger. Changing your workplace entirely, shaking up your staff, maybe even dismantling an old business to start fresh.
Right.
Or just a complete career U-turn.
Okay, serious shifts.
Definitely. Again, the source uses an example. Whitney Houston passing at 49, implying, from this perspective, a potential resistance to making necessary changes in her career path.
Another cautionary tale, perhaps?
It's presented that way. The message seems to be, if you're feeling stuck around 49, 55, it's probably time for a pretty drastic professional makeover.
Okay, strong advice for anyone feeling stagnant then. And what follows that period of intense shakeup?
Well, this is a really interesting transition. From 56 to 62 years, the 8th septennium, the numerology is 5 plus 6, which equals 11.
11, a master number.
Yeah, exactly. It points towards spiritual mastership, leadership, but for all humanity.
Wow. What does that look like practically?
The task becomes about giving lectures, teaching, motivating people, sharing your spiritual knowledge or hard-won life lessons. Even if it's just to a small group initially, it's about stepping into the role of a motivational and spiritual self-help professor, as the source puts it.
So sharing your wisdom.
Yes. And here, the source uses Michael Jackson's death at 55 as another example, suggesting that given his numerology apparently pointed to spiritual leadership, maybe he should have transitioned from performing the same dances, as the source says, to more public speaking, sharing his insights.
That's quite a specific interpretation.
It is, and it tackles the shyness thing too. If someone feels hesitant, the source boldly states something like, there's no shyness, only pride, implying it's an internal block, maybe ego, stopping that evolution into leadership.
Oof. Challenging stuff. Okay, so after all that leading and teaching, what's next on the agenda? We hit 63 to 69 years, the 9th septennium.
Right. Here you become an older brother of humanity, a natural psychologist. The numerology 6 plus 3 equals 9.
9. Generosity, completion.
Exactly. Links to generosity, psychology, helping others. So the tasks are things like performing acts of charity, giving alms, really listening to people's problems, offering advice, but not imposing it. Maybe even becoming a therapist or volunteering with NGOs.
Being a wise elder, essentially.
That's the feel. The source gives an example of a 63-year-old lawyer who intuitively shifted into psychology, fulfilling the cycle and winning the game, as they put it.
Winning in the game.
And here's another really powerful claim. The source asserts that even if you're sick during this period, aligning with this task of helping others will actually lead to recovery. Like your body will react positively and regain its original memory.
That's a profound connection between altruism and physical health. Wow.
It really is. It suggests our health is deeply, deeply tied to being aligned with these life tasks. Like illness could be a reaction to being outside the little house of your septennium.
The designated task.
Exactly. But returning to it can trigger regeneration. It's a core idea in the source.
Okay, so if 63, 69 is about listening and helping, what follows that?
After that outward focus comes a turn inward. From 70 to 76 years, the 10th septennium, the individual becomes the magician or the master.
Ooh, intriguing.
It's described as a phase of withdrawal, but for deep study. The focus shifts to profound self-knowledge.
What kind of study?
The source suggests things like astrology, astronomy, Reiki, radiesthesia.
Radiesthesia. That's
Yeah.
like dowsing, sensing subtle energies.
Essentially, yes. Understanding hidden influences, health patterns that way. Also studying sacred texts from all traditions, mystical wisdom. It's not about being antisocial, the source clarifies. It's about intense personal growth, really understanding the deeper mechanics of life, maybe preparing for the next phase of engagement.
Okay, a period of deep learning and integration. So what happens after that withdrawal? You mentioned future engagement.
Right, you don't stay withdrawn forever.
Yeah.
From 77 to 83 years, the 11th septennium, there's a return to society, but at a much higher, more spiritual level.
How so? What does that look like?
The numerology here is 7 plus 7 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 represents expansion, understanding. So the individual now shares all that wisdom they accumulated.
Putting the study into practice.
Exactly. Offering solutions to problems maybe they know about, healing herbs for specific ailments, for example. Guiding others based on deep spiritual knowledge. Becoming this really inspiring presence. Not, as the source puts it, a boring old person.
Haha, right. Avoid being boring.
Apparently. And the source claims, if you follow these cycles properly, you could be doing gymnastics at 83, living vibrantly. It really paints a picture of active, inspiring old age.
That's an amazing vision of longevity, and it doesn't stop there, does it? Even after all that leadership and study, there's another shift around 84 to 90 years, the 12th septennium.
Yes, and this one sounds quite fun, actually. The source describes it as a time for partying, celebrating, traveling, and entertainment.
Really? Partying?
Sounds like it. But the numerology 8 plus 4 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3 points to artistic and spiritual enjoyment, so it's not just frivolous.
Ah, okay. What's the deeper task?
The core task is profound. To really savor life. Enjoy time with family, friends. To consciously let go of past regrets and future anxieties. The source even suggests this active cultivation of joy promotes cellular regeneration.
Wow, joy as medicine.
Kind of. It's about experiencing this ultimate freedom and celebration of a life lived according to these principles.
What a beautiful idea. But incredibly, the journey keeps going from 91 to 97 years, the 13th septennium. The source says, starting a business, creating new ideas. That sounds astonishingly active.
It really does. The numerology is 9 plus 1 equals 10, reducing to 1 again, another new beginning.
Amazing.
And the source gives examples of people at 91, owning farms, working hard, generating new ideas. It contrasts this with someone, Vito Gasparetto, who apparently died at 91 because he decided it was time to rest.
So activity and purpose remain key.
Crucial, it seems, even at very advanced ages, according to this framework.
And that continues right into the 98 to 104 years range, the 14th septennium, still working strongly.
Yes, even physically demanding tasks. The source gives that wild example of a 98-year-old farmer lassoing a bull.
Incredible.
The numerology, 9 plus 8 is 17, 1 plus 7 is 8. Again, powerful work, administration. It's relentless in a way.
Okay, and then we hit 105 years, the 15th septennium. What happens then?
This is where the source introduces a concept it calls family constellation in action.
Family constellation. Sounds familiar, like the therapy method.
It seems related, but presented here as a life task. It's more than just reunions. It's a spiritual mission to actively unite the entire extended family. The goal is fostering healing across generations for ancestors and descendants through these gatherings.
That's incredibly deep, healing the whole family line.
Yeah. The numerology is 1 plus 0 plus 5 equals 6, family and philanthropy again, but at this vastly higher spiritual level. And here, the source mentions Neymar, presumably the footballer, dying at 104, suggesting maybe unfulfilled projects prevented him reaching this stage of profound family connection.
Another specific and somewhat surprising example.
It is. And then, beyond 112 years, the source suggests the individual reaches a different energetic plane entirely. They're convoked by higher powers, kind of detaching from these basic life missions. It mentions ascended masters, incredible longevity in places like North India, attributing it all directly to following these rules of life.
Wow.
Which really makes you wonder, doesn't it? This raises an important question. Is extreme longevity, maybe even higher consciousness, actually a direct result of living in sync with these universal rhythms, transcending what we think is possible?
That's a mind-bending thought, truly. Now, I'm sure a lot of people listening are thinking, okay, wow, I definitely haven't consciously done all of this perfectly.
Right. Probably most of us haven't.
And you know what? The source acknowledges that. So what does this all mean for us, like, right now?
Well, the good news And the source really stresses this again and again,
Yeah.
is that it's apparently never too late to start.
Okay, that's crucial.
Exactly. The emphasis is on recovering delayed tasks from previous septennia you might have missed or skipped over.
And the idea is that your body and spirit will respond positively once you start aligning.
That's the suggestion. The material consistently links physical issues, ailments, back to unfulfilled emotional or spiritual tasks from these cycles, suggesting disease can be a reaction to being outside the rules, basically.
So understanding where you are now in your current septennium could be a path to, well, self-regeneration, healing.
Precisely. The source even describes a different approach from doctors, saying something like, we ask the age to know what advice to give for regeneration through the septennium, not just about bone density.
Wow, that's a totally different lens on health.
It's very holistic. And what's fascinating here, I think, is the really empowering message.
Ooh.
We have the agency, the choice to change our path, to realign with this rhythm of life and unlock our potential, no matter what choices we made before. It just starts with awareness.
Taking conscious steps now to get in harmony with these forces.
That's the idea.
Okay. Well, we've journeyed through, nearly a century of potential human experience, all guided by this mysterious but powerful rhythm of 7.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It really is. But the core idea seems clear. These septennial cycles offer this profound and maybe actionable framework for understanding life, from emotions way back in childhood to spiritual growth, even extreme old age. And consciously aligning with them, according to our source, seems directly linked to a healthier, more fulfilling existence. It really is presented like that hidden instruction manual we talked about at the start.
It is. And maybe this raises one last important question for everyone listening. If these cycles really do represent universal laws, kind of like gravity, then how much of our own struggle or suffering, maybe even our disease, could be lessened just by understanding and working with them instead of fighting against them?
Right. What would your life look like?
Exactly. What would your life look like if you deliberately decided to embrace the task of your current septennium, starting today?
That's a powerful thought to end on. We definitely encourage you to reflect on your age, figure out which septennium you're in, and maybe, just maybe, explore this ancient wisdom a bit more. See if you can recover any delays and unlock a more vibrant path forward.